A very good evening to you and welcome to our Tampines hub. It's time for us to get back into the action as far as we are concerned, and this is going to be Nemesis facing Skools Innebandy. All this, of course, happening right here at our Tampines hub, and we are into, well, the first period of play itself, and let's not forget that one of the interesting things here is in the Singapore Floorball League or the Singapore Floorball Premier League, there's going to be a lot of activity, and we're going to stretch it all the way into October when we get to the finale. But for now, let's get down to basics and look at how these two teams perform. Very close to each other in performance. They've amassed about 18 points each. Looking well for that early attack is Skools Innebandy. There's no doubt about it, and it's interesting to see how they can perform. So all said and done, it's a good start for us here. The lads in red and black, of course, which is Skools Innebandy, really trying to make, well, a few early inroads into that attack, trying to gain a little bit of an advantage. It will be interesting to see how they perform, but let's get straight down to, well, looking at the team itself. Now here we do have Nemesis straight up on the outside. It is Alvin Tan, needs a helping hand. There's always going to be another lad to come in. This time it is well, Zafir. And that's the first strike. Didn't take too long. You know it was going to come. And it comes straight from, well, that amazing quick movement from Brandon Chong. Can be a bit of a worry. Have watched him in the past couple of, well, games right through this year. He's been lethal in attack. Pretty much a poacher. Knows exactly what he's doing. Right place at the right time. Was fed that ball very easily. Lovely assist coming in from Gabriel Chan, and great execution from Brandon. So Brandon makes it 1-0 for Skools Innebandy. A very nice start right at the beginning of the game itself. We have not even covered 2 minutes, so think about it. So Brandon's got a good start here for the team. And was just talking about how these two teams have really been fairly close to each other in terms of their performance. 18 points that each of them have amassed, and on the league table currently, it is Skools Innebandy who hold the advantage by sitting one spot above Nemesis. But let's give Nemesis their due, because Nemesis have 2 games in hand and the same number of points. So if they do get through those 2 games, and let's say they manage to win them, it'll be an entirely different take. Now here goes Skools Innebandy back again. A little bit of a shuffle happening there, but he decides to get it back. That was Mohammed. And just to give you, of course, the lowdown on that quick run that we're looking at. Lovely tap back. I do like this kid a lot, and that's Tamri Zahid. Extremely fast, quick on the draw as well. Picking it up on the outside, that's well, Hezri. It's part of the under-23 team. That's the number 23. Well, you can't get more definitive than that. You've got a 23 jersey. You represent the under-23 team. How cool is that? So I don't know how, well, good or bad it's been in your neck of the woods, but for us here at our Tampines hub, it's been action galore. You know, right through the past couple of months, a bit, or rather a few breathers in between. Good stop there. Well, just keeping the threat away. And he does well. That's, well, Mohammed Ryan. That's just going to sail back for a little bit. Well, in goal for Nemesis, we've got Damien. Big tap there from Alvin Tan. Just looking at Nemesis, taking a bit of time to get comfortable in their skin here today. They normally are quick on the draw, but it's been actually Skools Innebandy that, well, drew first. As far as the trigger is concerned, or rather pulled the trigger first. Singapore Floorball's been very active right through. What a strike that is! What a fine finish! Needed that, and Nemesis finally decide to get a piece of the pie, and that too at the right time. It took a little bit of planning. I needed to split that defense well, and I think that's exactly, well, what they've done. A lovely push there coming from his stick, and it's, well, Lee Chi-yong who's nailed it well and good, and lovely setup there. Good assist from Dexter Wang. So this is what is really required when you think about it. You need to have, well, a perfect setup, and I think one of the things that we totally realized, Dexter picking out his man extremely well so that he was unmarked, unguarded, just about putting it in the right position. So even Stevens back again here in the first 5 minutes, and I was just saying this, Nemesis taking a bit of time to get themselves into the comfort zone, and I think they finally settled in, which is why you can see that their movements, well, on court have been much faster than they were before. Always great to see a balanced affair, and you know, well, sitting in my position, you can always be neutral, and when somebody else, well, I do remember I had one of the Floorball stars who was were commentating with me and asked me which is your favorite team, and I could only say, well, one thing, and that it was, well, they asked me which game or which team do you support, and I said I actually support the sport and I support the game. That's how cool it is. And that's bombed away. So good work being done here by, well, keeper Mohamed Rayan. But Nemesis aren't willing to give up. And, well, he does get to the ball in time. That's Thamri. Also a quick mention to our officials, always say the unsung heroes, that's Shairazi and well, Faja. Shairazi right now in the camera lens. And Faja at the other end, and that's a good save. Well done there. As keeper Damien is able to stand in the path of that attack from Skools Innebandy. And that is so required at this point of time. So the goalkeepers, well, being called into action on either side of the court here today, and that's been pretty fast actually. Normally takes a bit of time before you can get going with those attacks, but both these teams do play a very attacking game, and I think, well, that's the joy of the sport, isn't it? I always love to see a quick affair. Here's Thamri. Needs a helping hand. Gets that from Nazrul. Still trying to drag that through. Winchester pulling it away. That's Amirul Azri. Will be received behind by Nazrul back again. Straight off here to Brandon. It can be a bit of a worry, as we've seen, for the opposition, that is. And Nemesis able to pull it away just in time. Bit of an ambush there in red, and I think the referee is going to call that in favor. Ball off Skools Innebandy, I would have thought so. Luckily, Skools Innebandy getting away without any, well, worry. It's just a free hit for Nemesis. Almost thought that there was going to be a bench penalty there, but it wasn't. Talk about quick movement. Here's Brendan Chong back again. Gets a helping hand. Mohamed Darvish is coming next. And that's another good save put up there. Well, this time it's Nazrul being denied by Damien. Was pretty much on course for a goal. Kind of take a look at Singapore Floorball and how things have panned out over a period of time, and you are going to see that there's been a huge progression in terms of the speed of the game. If you were following it maybe about 7 or 8 years back, then you're doing that now. And these clubs are pretty much what you'd call the cream of the crop. Right there at pro level, they play an exciting, brand of floorball. And that's what makes it just a bit unfair that not everybody gets to enjoy it. And I think, to draw in the crowds, and that normally happens during the knockout stages and pretty much towards the end of the tournament when you're going to have packed arenas. And this arena, of course, right here at our Tampines hub, it's an indoor spot. For me, very much I'm at home here because I've been here so many times. Love the location, love the setup, everything about it, the organization. And if you ever get a chance and you're in the neighborhood, you should just drop in at our Tampines hub, catch a load of the action. Talking of which, once again, it's another save put up here as Nicholas Chua is denied the opportunity. Mohamed Ryan, safe hands from the Skools Innebandy keeper. Oh, that could be dangerous. Able to palm away that threat. Well, even as there was the looming figure of Mikhail, Simono just a bit too close. So 10 minutes done in this first period of play, and that's another interesting stop there. Now this time, no way through for Mikhail. Did try to punch his way through, but couldn't get past keeper Ryan. Oh, lovely back pass, sneaky as ever. Gets it straight back to Hezri. Well, Nemesis just about getting tangled up in their own movement. Happens sometimes to the best of us. And that's referee Fajar, just to give you an insight. And the reason I say referees unsung heroes, you can't have a game without them. But beside that, they do take the time to stay dedicated to the cause and turn up here every time. That's a quick one. Goes past the target. Could have been a second goal here if you ask me, for Lee Chi-yong. But the accuracy factor just missing a tad bit. And that battle for the ball will be won there by, Nemesis getting the benefit of the call. Good interception. Brendan Chong, just make sure he's got it through. That was a quick attack. Wasn't entirely, goal bound, but Irwan, whipping that stick forward. I don't think he was in a comfortable position. Had clear sight of the goal, but just unable to guide that. Just a quick pass here from Gary Wong. I do believe one of the key parts in club events, as you can see, is there is no caution that's really exercised in a contest here, and there's a reason for that. Clubs play at a pretty fast pace as compared to even the national squads, because, as I said, caution is never a part of the deal. It's about attack, it's about defense, and it's about scoring those goals. Well, pun intended. Quick movement, still with it, Jedal Khan. Another one of those lads who does make a big difference whichever team he plays for. He's part of the national squad as well, Jedal. So is keeper Damien, Lee Chi-yong, Nicholas Chua, Mikhail Simono, Zafir Ilhan, Joel Sim, Clement Ong, and of course Azari Saputra. And these are all the lads who play for Nemesis. In Skools Innebandy, there's another bunch: Mohammad Davish, Mohammad Irwan, Mohammad Indra, Gabriel Chan, Mohammad Hezri, and Amirul Azri. So Couple of lads are safe hands there. Very safe hands from Damien. So Damien won. Pretty strong with his movement, and that's well right in the path. Didn't have to work too much with that defensive move, Nazrul. Standing in the path of Nicholas Shaw. So 6 minutes left. It's Nukman Sharhan who's come in now. Just a good bit of dribbling skill there, but decided to get the ball out of his way. There was Akid. There's Alvin Than back again. A familiar sight down that right flank. Works mainly on the defensive lines, can create opportunities. Oh, that's a good bit of a whipper there, but it didn't find its way through. Had the intention, but just the accuracy missing out totally for Zafir. Zafir Ilhan really trying to power that through earlier. It's now Nicholas. Gets it to Zafir. Referee Faja says, I'll take it from you, lads. You can continue with the game. Bit of a give and go there between Nicholas Lowe and Lee Chi-yong. Once again standing right there in the path is keeper Damien, but that's a persistent attack that we're looking at, but not for too long. Possession now with Nemesis. Here's Nicholas Lowe. So under 5 minutes left. Well, in this first part of the game, remember, it's always split into three. And as far as we are concerned, it's been a very, very well-matched, contest so far. Would that change in the second or the third period? Well, anything can happen. But as of now, it's still good enough for us. Quick tap back there from Del Tamri. Up in front, trying to create a few worries as Irvan for the Nemesis defense. Will get a bit of a helping hand. 3 lads in red and black around, but I do believe was good enough to pull that away. And that's going to find its way through. Chance to pawn that opportunity. And the captain decides that he wants a piece of the pie here. Fairly strong movement. Right place at the right time, I would believe. And just a bit of a defensive slip up. An unlikely assist from the opposition. And what a strike that's been. Pretty fast if you ask me. Wasn't expecting that to come through, but the last thing you want to do is, well, put the ball plumb in front of the opposition's captain. So it's 2-1 Skools Innebandy. And Nemesis will back to square one with a goal behind in this contest. Skools Innebandy still attacking. Well, that's been the plan for them, and it's Darvish this time who steps it up. And that's picked up safely. No worries here as keeper Rayan gets to it. Do believe Nemesis would like to, well, restore the balance in this game as soon as they can, rather than, well, keep that scoreline in favour of Skools Innebandy. Well, that would be the intent at this point of time. Oh, could have had just a quick turnaround there. Flick of the stick that wasn't going to work too well here for, well, the captain. That's Ilhan, Zafir Ilhan. Always a bit of joy as far as well, the strike is concerned, and with just a little over a minute left to go, I do believe the lads in red and black won't be keen. Oh, that's a good effort coming in straight from Nicholas Lowe. Didn't really find the target, but got to credit him for, well, taking the chance. Lementong. Well, Nemesis definitely have got what it takes, to find their way through. Well, it's all about whether they do or they do not in the event so far. Well, trying to drive that through, they will be kept away. Just a bit of confusion as to where that ball could have been. And you don't want, well, Ting Zong Wei was the one who struck in that second goal. He's been lurking around that area as well. There might just be an opportunity for them, but Nemesis will hold on. And right here at the end of the first period, of course, we've got a bit of a conversation there between the referee and, well, Damri will have to sit it out. I don't think, well, Leroy was too happy about, well, that movement from the opposition. We've still got about 5 seconds left. I do stand corrected. Our timekeepers will always be a step ahead of us. There's no doubt about it. That's straight up against the side netting. Was trying to find their way through, but Nemesis will have to wait. And Damri can, well, join his lads back again before he takes that throne all over to wait out his time. He's got about 1 minute and 51 seconds left on the bench. So, at the end of the first period, it's Nemesis 1, Skools Innebandy 2. Stay with us as we give you the moments of this game so far. talk about getting one through very early, and must remind you, of course, that we are already into the second period of play right here at our Tampines hub. It is Skools Innebandy and Nemesis, well, facing off. Nemesis wanted to get back into the attack, and I think they've done fairly well to push one through. Absolutely, and quickly whip through to finish that and make it 2-all. And it's Nicholas Chuawell who's come to the party this time. So 2-all, and even Stevens back again here at the OTH. Let's remind you, of course, that this is the Singapore Floorball League, which comes, of course, directly under the governance of the Singapore Floorball Association. Everything that Floorball does. It's a great initiative, because keep in mind the fact that while we do get to see the best of Floorball, it's also an opportunity for all those that are a part of the national team and that also aren't a part of the national team to play the sport at a very highly competitive level. My name is Glenn Mascarenas, and I've been with you since the start of this game, and I'm going to stay with you, well, to the end of this game and till the end of this year's league contest as well. So we'll be spending a lot of time with each other. Having said that, right now it's the lads on court for pretty much doing that. So 2-all. It's game on back again here, and as I said earlier, one of the great things about these two teams, very close to each other on the league table, very close in terms of performance. They do play a similar brand of floorball. It's more about attack, and just about, let's say, 60% attack and 40% defense. But having said that, Nemesis do take a little bit of time to get going. Straight off the starting blocks, it was Skools Innebandy. But all hangs in balance currently with the score tied at 2-all. So don't forget that Skools Innebandy, of course, has been back to full strength. Just a little bit of time that Aldamri had to sit it out. And that won't find the target, but it goes past the near post. Just an early push there from Irwan. Well, the lads in red and black will be very keen on, restoring that lead that they enjoyed for a short period of time. Well, on both occasions, they were the ones to surge ahead first. And then, of course, well, took a bit of a back seat. I think that was one of the key elements. Surprise by Nemesis. They wanted to get that early goal in the second period, and that's exactly what they did. Here's Lee Chi-yong playing it to Nicholas Lowe. On the outside, Cesari. They're still very much holding on to possession. Did meet with Kim Zong-wei. Zong-wei just making, well, the difference here for his team. That won't find the target, but it's going to be an effort all the same. Anik Danish trying to do his bit here. So just barely 5 minutes into this, well, second period. Now stepping in, of course, his captain, that's Joel Sim. But sometimes you do need your skipper to lead by example, and I think Zhang Wei doing that very well in that first 20 for us. There's Joel. Quick flick from him. Got Mikhail. Well, as I did mention this earlier, a lot of these lads have played alongside each other, well, including Gerald Tan, Nicholas Chua. They do understand the sync. The coordination tends to be a lot stronger, just keeping in mind the fact that they have an understanding playing alongside each other, and also the fact that they have national teammates on the other side of the half line. They do understand that their national teammates have their strengths and weaknesses, and that makes the contest so much more interesting, because when you know each other's gameplay, you've got to really think out of the box as to how you're going to outwit your counterparts. And that's the joy of any competitive sport. Here's Darvish, just doing the run around for a bit. Tap there from Texter Wong. Well, Lee decides to pull that through. Lee Ji-young also very quick on the draw. Holding on to possession there was Nicholas Lowe, still very much with it. The referee just making sure that you are going to restart the action from the right place, and Joel does the needful. It's back to Joel, to captain, side by side now. Wanted to drag that through, but it wasn't going to be easy for Gerald Tan. Zari does the run around. He's got a helping hand from Nicholas Chua. Well, the current line, if you look at, for Nemesis, does consist of lads who normally are fairly tall. That includes, Gerald, Nicholas Chua. Sometimes it's an advantage, sometimes it's the lads who aren't that tall that can make the difference. But having said that, it does help you gain greater ground if you do have a tad bit of height, especially if you're a quick runner. Having said that, some of the finest floorballers who can be lethal in strike aren't that big in size, but they're extremely quick movers and a great floorball minds. Straight past the away post. Pulling it away just in time. That was Amarul. Well, stick a foot out and you just might be able to deny Gabriel Chan, and that's exactly what Damien Wan does here. Well, the referee will grant that to Skools Innebandy, and rightfully so. And that's found its way through, needed a bit of time, and it's going to be a brace here. you would believe, but what you really require is that lead restored, and they finally done it all over again. So interesting bit of play from, well, Skools Innebandy. And needed a finish, needed to get that through, and I think he's just going to be happy. So Brandon Chong, well, does net a brace. And it's 3-2 as Skools Innebandy have restored their lead. It's been a bit of a routine, or a bit of a pattern, if you ask me. Skools Innebandy score 1, Nemesis follow suit. Now left to be seen whether that happens here again with a little over, 9 minutes left. Living life dangerously here is Nemesis. They just have to dig deep with their defense, because keep in mind the fact that Skools Innebandy are getting dangerously close every time. Talk about getting one back, and I just spoke about that pattern, and here it is. It's been like a game of tag, if you ask me. One team scores, the other team gets back in. And that's going to be 3-all here. Well, just a gentle flick, and that's all that was needed. And you talk about a brace, and Lee Chi-young stepped back in, so it's now 3-all. And these teams really going, kind of toe-to-toe. Goal for goal, brace for brace, and attack for attack. And they are enjoying the contest, there's no doubt about that. Been a quick exchange of sticks here. I do believe Nemesis trying to make the difference. Nicholas Shaw pulling it away first. Now here's Joel. Gerald will send it up ahead. Oh, needed to drive that through. It's not going to find the target, but it's going to be an attack all the same. And that did come from, Nicholas Shaw. Pretty fast on the attack. And we do have the return of, Leroy Joshua Brown, and that's the number 88. It's a very interesting name, just in case you aren't acquainted, with the late 70s folk singer Jim Croce. And he immortalized that name with a song that was called Bad Bad Leroy Brown. That name has stuck with me since childhood, so it's interesting to see a real Leroy Brown in action. That's going to sail out. While Skools Innebandy decide on what could be their next move. Nemesis won the lead this time. Straight back to Chun Yin. Yin still very much with it. Well, just trying to push that through. It's a bit of an ambush there from the lads in red. Couldn't find his way in. Gabriel Chan. 6 minutes and close to, well, 20 seconds left in this encounter, or in the second period. Remember, we've got one more to go, so when you take all three, the sum of all three parts, we'll get the result as always. Nicholas Lowe pulling it away just in time. Well, just a bit of action here. Well, what you're looking for, and here's a layback again. Lee Chi-young does make the difference. But that's going to go the way of Nemesis. Well, every free hit and opportunity does count. Quick run around, lovely back pass there. Bit of smart play. Mikhail Simono, well, sending it back to Nicholas Chua earlier. That's what you do require. You require just a tad bit of that sneaky play. It's one of the joys of football, isn't it? The ability to use the flick at will. And that's past the away post. Well, that's a rumble in the goal area, but it's not going to last for too long. Skools Innebandy will know they've got to dig deep here to get that fourth goal, and there's every opportunity they might be able to do it, but not for now. Say Nemesis was pulled away very quickly by Dexter Wang. Don't forget that he had that amazing assist in that first goal, the reply that put well, Nemesis back on level footing early on, but Lee Chi-young being able to restore the balance, and now that balance has still stayed, with the scoreline being 3-all. And that's well stolen possession. Darvish, well, going in with the assist. Well, did try to nuzz that in, almost went in for a wraparound, and that's a double attack, I do believe. Well, Darvish kept at bay along with Gabriel Chan, who did try to power that one in. So Nemesis can rest easy for the time being, as keeper Damien, well, just about keeps, well, the area clean for the time being. So under 2 minutes now. Here's the interesting bit, just in case you know, you do like the numbers. Keeping in mind the fact that the scenario doesn't change. It was 3 goals in that first period. 3 goals in the second so far, because that equalizer for that second goal came from Nemesis early in this game. So it's actually been fairly constructive here for Nemesis. 1 goal struck by, well, Skools Innebandy in this period, and 2 struck by, well, Nemesis. Good clearance. That's been called by the referee. Nemesis can breathe a sigh of relief. And one of the things you've got to understand is, if you actually look at most of our referees, they've got to stay just as fit as you know, the lads on the court, and there's a reason for it. Most of them are normally, well, former floorball players, but in any and every single sport, maybe with the exception of cricket, where you still have to be fit, but you're going to spend, you know, time out on the field. But you look at football, you look at floorball, or even basketball for that matter, referees have to be quick movers. They have to be able to run, to spot, and it's very essential for them to stay fit. That won't find its way through, but Nicholas Lowe just decides to try his luck out. And that's pretty much the end of the second period, as we stay even Stevens in this encounter so far. It's Nemesis 3, Skools Innebandy 3. Well, don't forget, we've got 1 more period to go, and of course we'll find out who will reign supreme in this event. Stay with us, don't go anywhere. Welcome back to our Tampines Hub, and it's time for us to get into the last and final period of play. Keep in mind the fact that, as I said earlier, it's been a very, very strong contest here. Nemesis 3, Skools Innebandy 3, just to refresh the action for you. Skools Innebandy taking the lead in that first period, and then Nemesis with a quick reply to make it 1-1, and then Skools Innebandy finishing the end of the first 20 with a 2-1 scoreline. Come the second period, Nemesis were quick on the draw to pull level. And then, of course, Skools Innebandy restored their lead to go 1 goal ahead and make it 3-2. Having said that, just a matter of time before Nemesis restored the balance. A brace, of course, for Brandon Chong of Skools Innebandy, and at the other end, Lee Chi Yong. So these teams have played a very, very strong affair so far. Let's find out what happens in this 20 and who will reign supreme as we get on with the action. Quick tumble here, but he'll be back up and about. And that was Anik Danish. Well, just straight off there. Holding his own was Damien Wan. Pass ahead, I would believe. Nemesis, well, just trying to make the difference here. They do want a goal as fast as possible. Here's Jasmeet Singh. Well, that's a quick turnaround. Seemed like a gentle attack, but it could have been effective had Damien Wan not been alert to the danger here. It's, well, just one of those times, you know, that you've just got to be so alert, and that's what makes or breaks a really good floorball keeper. Well, as a custodian, you've got to be more attentive than your teammates, and for the first time, while taking the lead here, it's Nemesis. And if one captain leads by example, well, so can the other. Joel Sim just stepping out here. It's now 4-2 Nemesis. Just a view of how it all broke down. Well, Joel flicking that in from an angle. Beautifully done there to get the better, well, of the Skools Innebandy keeper. And it's 4-3. So Nemesis taking the lead for the first time in this affair. And it's Joel Sim to make the difference. So now Skools Innebandy have a different aim in mind. Big pass back there from Nicholas Lowe. That's flicked ahead. Was trying to make a difference here, and that was, well, Chi Yong. Just questioning that move was Gabriel Chan. Skools Innebandy, of course, do get the benefit of that call from the referee. Quick flick back there from Amr Al-Azri. It's Darvish. Well, finds it back to Brandon Chong. Doing well to pull that away. Were Nemesis. And he can make a difference here, Chi Yong. He's got the pace factor. He's got the ability to cover a good amount of ground. Does put that to good use, if you ask me. Well, trying to make the difference here was just Meath. Won't find the target, but just trying to keep that pressure on the red and black. Well, just to keep you in the loop, keep in mind the fact that we've just got a few more weekends where, you know, the group stage or the round robin will continue, and soon after that, keep in mind and mark this down, 21st of September, we do have the quarterfinals that'll kick in. No second chances there to do or die. At that point, kept away and quick hands. I would have believed for the time being, but well, referee, of course, just calling that. Damien were rushing in to save it. And they are going to check in on their keeper. Well, they did rush to take that. Well, sometimes you can injure your neck. It depends on the move. Well, goalkeepers are padded, but it does make a difference. And our referees, Shirazi, and that's what really happened. He did take a slight knock to the head. The two of the players were falling over. You always want to check for a concussion to see if everything's all right. Damien just getting a bit of hydration. Well, it might look like a simple, tumble, but sometimes, well, action like that can result in really, really strong injuries without you even realizing it. And I think the best thing to do is always to check in, especially when it involves anything to do with the head. Have seen some horrendous injuries in the sport of, well, football and rugby and many other sports. Actually, it could be something as simple as horse riding when you're not, and an equestrian sport where you're not up against well, any opposition, but it's just you and the horse. And if the horse stumbles, you get thrown off at anything. It could, well, not change your destiny in the sport, it could change your destiny for life. But that's just the way how things really work in the long run. Having said that, back to the action here, and Jedaltan trying to power through. Picked out on the outside. Here's Tamari. Straight off to Hezri. Well, did try to drive that in. These lads can make the difference. Straight off the back, as I do believe. Can always be a bit of a worry here for some of the lads. Cheong has set it back for his teammates, but that's quickly intercepted. Well done, yeah, by Brandon Chong for Skools Innebandy, and he's just pretty much a sticky customer. They'll stick to it. Well, nearing the end of the first 10 minutes in this third period of play, and it's interesting that Nemesis have managed to hold on to their lead for a bit of time. Skools Innebandy are very keen on restoring the balance. Well, can they do it? I think that's the big question as of now. Amir Al-Azri, well, decides he's going to drive that through, and that's picked up by Damien Wan, even as Brandon was looking for a hat-trick. And I do believe Damien's got a bit of a worry there to his right hand. Now, that must have stung, or did he have his hand stepped on? Could have been. And many a times you will notice that there are some keepers who play without gloves. And that's called being adventurous. Well, some of them can take it, some of them can't. The sting of the ball is pretty strong. Remember, it's a moving object, a projectile, without you realizing it, and that's pulled away. Good backup plan there from the lads for Nemesis. Quickly across from Damri. We've got a player down. Does not happen too often, and it's Brandon Chong, so they will check in to see that everything is all right. Well, sometimes it could be, well, a cramp, sometimes it could be just a worry. I think he did take, well, a knock to the chest. I think that's why he's got the ice pack there. And Nicholas Lowe will have to sit it out. And that's what happened. That's when Brandon, of course, did go down. So, well, for the first time, Nemesis are down to 4 lads. It's advantage Skools Innebandy here. They'll have to make the most of these 2 minutes to try and get back into the thick of things as box play will be seen for the second time in this contest. Skools Innebandy really trying to make the difference here. They're up against 4 lads in blue and white, and that's the best way you want to counter it. Take an attack forward of yourself, but he loses possession. It's Sean Huang. Was with it for just a period of time. Now on the outside, yes, well, Iran, along with Anik Danish. Anik getting it back to Iran. Iran just trying to make the difference here. But Jedaltan gets to it, but not for too long, as that's restored there by, well, Zongwei for his team. Still a bit of time left before, well, Nemesis can be back to full strength. And Skools Innebandy will look to, well, exploit this as far as possible. Nicholas Chua will have to let possession go. That's the red and black. Well, aim to strike. Tavish. Bit of give and go there between Tavish and Amr Lazri. Got Brandon Chong in there as well. He can make the difference. And the ploy has been, of course, just as any team would do. Nemesis have been able to get that ball away, well, time and again. And that's just going to linger around. And that's 2 more minutes to be served out. So Nemesis will still have to stay on guard for another 2 minutes. And I think that's the reason why the referees were talking to Joel earlier, the captain of, well, Nemesis. Penalty was just going to be a bit longer. Quick back up there coming from Ilhan to help Alvin Tan out. Alvin Tan looking to make the difference here for his team. Brandon Chong. Well, he's led the way with 2 goals. He's definitely going to be hungry for a hat-trick. There's no doubt about it. Just try to whip that one through Amirul. And Tavish decides to try, well, his luck. Well, knowing that they've got the advantage, there couldn't be a better moment than this. It also stalls play here for Nemesis, who've been, well, very tight with defense. Brandon, well, will win the benefit of that call. The referee just making sure that he restarts the action. Amirul getting it back to Brandon. Wald decided to whip that one in. Could have been a good opportunity here for Damri. Well, one thing is for certain, that while Nemesis await getting back to full strength, they played a very, very good defensive, well, bit here in these 4 minutes. Also making his way back onto the court is Leroy Brown. Well, that was whipped through. The captain once again. Zongwei just trying to make the difference, and quick with that attack. Well, he did that when he did score the goal as well. Very, very decisive in his, well, shot play. You can see that. Knows pretty much what he's doing or which direction that's going to go in. So Nemesis back to full strength. About a little under 5.5 minutes of play left, or of action left here at our Tampines Hub. Let's remind you that this is, well, the Singapore Floorball World League 2025-26, and it's been a very, very interesting, well, year for us. Well, while we talk about the club events, let's also not forget that the Singapore national team for the women were making waves by, of course, winning the contest here in March and then qualifying for 3, well, international tournaments. One, of course, Southeast Asian. So, what a joy it's been. Well, just to see the sport at its finest this year, and it's really been a very, very packed schedule for most of our floorballers. Let's not forget we are looking at, those under 19s as well. They had to travel a bit. Looking at the under 23s, there's so much of action galore that's been taking place, and many of these lads get drafted into the senior teams. Won't find his way through, but it's going to be an attack all the same from Dexter Wong. Getting right behind it, that's Sharhan. Sharhan. Receiving the back there from... Well, his teammate needed to get that through, and the referee's going to call that. Well, it looks like it was Indra. Let's get a word from the official. So Mohamed Indra will have to rest it out for just a little bit as our referee calls a misdemeanor. And Nemesis might just have the opportunity here. Keep in mind the fact that Skools Innebandy are down to 4 players now. Being a man shot, box formation would be essential. Still a bit scattered here, the lads in red and black. Well, this game was always going to get physical in this part. Both teams would like a decider. Currently, the reins still in the hands of Nemesis. Leroy Brown trying to make the difference. So, out on the bench for a hit, that's Mohamed Indra. Nemesis still holding their own here, and it's going to be interesting to see, with just about 2.5 minutes left of play. Still trying to drive that through, wasn't successful in making a pass. Azari Saputra from the outside trying to whip that in. It was Thamri. Really eager to make the difference here, as we can see, is the Skools Innebandy. The referee's just calling that, which means, Well, Chi Yong will have to buy this time out for a misdemeanor. Well, we've had so many bench penalties right through, or so many offences in this third period of play. And it's been interesting because that's actually given the other teams a chance to attack more, and for the team with a player shot to actually dig deeper. So far it's been good. Nemesis have been able to hold off any attack, and this could actually be, keep in mind the fact that Lee Chi-yong is going to sit out the rest of the game definitely, and this could be a very good opportunity, you would believe, well, for Skools Innebandy to make it count. We do have a timeout, so do stay with us because it's a crucial point. I think Nemesis do not want to, well, lose this game, and Skools Innebandy would like to finish on level or with a win. Stay with us as the action continues at our Tampines hub. It's been a good evening, and we've been delighted by the action put up by these lads so far in the Singapore Floorball World League 2025-26. Just could have been something in there for Darvish. Skools Innebandy will scramble as quick as they can because they know how important this is. Nicholas Lowe gets it away. And that'll be the plan as long as Nemesis can keep that ball in the Skools Innebandy half. They just might be able to pull off a victory here. Here's Darvish. The urgency, well, definitely visible here to score as soon as possible, to avoid a defeat, share the spoils rather than, well, lose points entirely. And I think that that's the big question that is on the minds of the red and black. Under a minute left, can Nemesis hold on for a victory? Anything is possible, isn't it, in a game like this? Anything. Well, just trying to tap that through. That was a lovely setup, but still unable to convert here. Skools Innebandy getting so close. Well, when you're up against a team that is a player shot, you really want to make the most of it. You really want to be able to strike as soon as possible, but still no way through here. Well, that's driven through, but Damien has got it covered for the time being. And that's pretty much going to be the end of it all. What a rush there from Darvish. But I do believe Nemesis just holding on for a win. And that's an excellent bit of play from keeper Damien 1-2. I think the red and black just leaving it a bit too late. And it's pretty much ended with Nemesis claiming the spoils here as they get the better of Skools Innebandy. What a close fought encounter, but all said and done. A brace there from Lee Chi-yong for his team Nemesis, a brace for Brendan Chong for Skools Innebandy. But it is the lads in blue and white who will claim the spoils, and also keep in mind the fact they've got 2 games in hand, so they're going to be steady on that league table. Once again, a reminder that our quarterfinals kick in on the 21st of September. We've got a few games more to go over the next couple of weekends. If you're in and around the area, do hop over to our Tampines hub and join us Always a joy to have you over. But final score in the Singapore Floorball League game between Nemesis and Skools Innebandy. It's Nemesis 4, Skools Innebandy 3. Thank you so much for sharing the action with us. My name is Glenn Mascarenas, and I'll be back with you for another game real soon. Till then, stay well, and don't forget to always stay connected to the Singapore Floorball League.